All right. Good morning. It is a Wednesday morning and it is chilly outside. Oh, I didn't even check the temperature. But it was I don't know, probably low 60s maybe. 59. All right, I was close. Beautiful day outside and it's like okay, our some days have been feeling really hot even though it's spring, but it's South Texas, so we're kind of used to it. And you never know when it's going to change like that. It's going to be like change, deal with it. That's the title today. And today I found an article on success.com called Nine Ways to Deal with Change, right? There's always change. And I'll add that once we're done, I'll add it to the comment area of the video. I had the link to the article so you can check it out for yourself. And it's a couple years old, but it talks about something we all deal with, which means there's always constant, evolving of our situation. Could be, well, let's start the article here. It says marriage breakups, career changes, job loss, illness, having children, an empty nest, financial downturns, moving, graduating, losing someone you love. Stuff happens. All of these are common transitions and stress triggers. How do you cope? Here are a few self-coaching tips that can help. So, these tips are things to keep in mind when you're dealing with change in your life. It could be small, could be large, could be um, something annoying to something that creates upheaval in your life. Change happens, stuff happens. Are you prepared to deal with the change? Let's start it off with number one. Admit that you are vulnerable and seek help, which will diffuse your negativity. How difficult is it for many people to admit or ask, admit they need or ask for help? I guess some of it has to do with the way we are brought up. For and again, this is just a very limited amount of experience on my end. Sometimes it feels like as men we're just told, and I did a little talk on this once, is suck it up. Just deal with it. Man up. And besides triggering stress, if you're getting, an influx of stress in your life because of a change, something that is causing upheaval in your life. And then you have to add on to that shutting down and dealing with it and just stuffing it down in a little, inside you. And guess what? It's a stress amplifier, right? Admitting that you're vulnerable and seeking help, which will diffuse your negativity, being the first tip that we're getting today, doesn't necessarily mean professional help that is available to you, right? Obviously. And I've seen, and I actually have a face shield, right? That has the information for the Veterans Crisis Line, right? Veterans Crisis Line. It's a suicide prevention hotline, text, and chat. Free confidential support for veterans in crisis and their families and friends. The Veterans Crisis Line is 1 800 273 8255 and then press 1. That's 800 273 8255 and then press 1. You can actually text as well to the number 838 255. That's 838 255. Now, obviously, this is very specific, you know, option for you. You can seek individual, private, professional help if you so need. But you can also reach out to a friend. You can also reach out to a loved one, a trusted person in your life that sometimes you just need to. And I have that person. And it happened to me recently where I was feeling overwhelmed. And I called that person and I was like, I'm feeling this. And just saying it kind of like opened, it's like I ripped off a scab, right? And I felt this flood of emotion. It's difficult to say, right? But I felt this flood of emotion. But we talked for a while, and just getting it out and just sharing it and just opening myself out, just reaching out, allowed me to grab and, anchor myself. And that was really, really important. That was recent for me, like within the last month. So number one, when we're dealing with change, admit that you're vulnerable. Admit that you feel vulnerable and seek help, right? That's number one. Number two, become proactive. Those who are empowered look for opportunities to make things better. Those who are empowered, becoming proactive, look for opportunities to make things better. Victims sit back and worry about what will happen. What is the one thing we can almost guarantee will happen if you just sit back and worry about what will happen? Things will happen without you. That's the one thing you can guarantee. You'll have no control over the situation, over what's going on, if you are not proactive. If you are not looking, let's say, for that helping hand, or looking for another opportunity to do something. Sitting back and worrying about what will happen, zero control. You have zero control about what's coming down the pike. If you feel you have control, or if you do, if you are exerting control over what's coming ahead, you are empowered. You are being proactive. Don't allow that victim mentality to hold you down, hold you back. So number two, become proactive. Number three, know that you are never stuck with just one feeling. Know that you're never stuck with just one feeling. You may feel afraid and optimistic and excited and terrified about the same circumstances. Focus on the positive emotions, especially if you're undertaking something new, especially if you want to make change in your life. If you are the maker of change in your life, it's terrifying sometimes. It's frightening. It may be low level, It's also exciting. It gives you a buzz if you focus on the positive emotions. And there's a link on there on focus on the positive emotions that leads to tricks to trigger positive emotions. So when I share the link to this article at the end of the video in the comments section, check that one out as well. So know that you're never stuck with just one feeling. Certain situations give you different your body responds in different ways. It's almost like going on a date with someone for the first time. It's scary, but it's exciting. There's a thrill to it, right? And you think of different things in your life that you deal with, or think of different things that you do in your life, either that you are confronted by that you have to do, or things you seek out to do because they're exciting, or because it's scary, or because it's going to enrich your life in some way, shape, or form. You're never stuck with just one feeling. Focus on the positive emotions. It's number three. Number four, trust yourself based on past successes. And I'll say it again. We've said this a couple of times during these talks. Grab yourself a pack of, Post-it notes or note cards or whatever, and start writing down your past successes. One thing is writing them down on a spiral or typing them out on a Word document or whatever, Google Doc. Put individual ones on individual pieces of paper and flip through them. I did this. I did that. I succeeded at doing this. I succeeded at doing that. And remind yourself. It says, trust yourself based on past successes, asking, when have I managed change before? Oh my gosh. I was in radio for a couple of decades and talk about change. I'm trying to think of how many different formats I went through. I was like pop radio, and then I went to an oldie station, who then evolved into a kind of a classic hit station, and then I went to like a talk radio station. Then I went to back to a pop station, who turned into an oldie station, who turned into a pop station, turned into a rock station. Nonstop change. Unable to adapt to something like that, you'll just be like, fireflies in a windstorm, like Dean Koontz said. When have I managed change before? How did I do that? How did it turn out? Not all of them successful. But you being able to manage change, you being able to adapt, you being able to say, okay, now I'm doing this and moving forward. Not just sitting there worrying about what's going to happen like a victim, but actually getting things done to get to where you need to go. Trust yourself based on past successes. You didn't get to this point in your life without succeeding at something in the past. Simple. Truth of the matter. Hashtag truth. Trust yourself based on past successes. Number 5, avoid obsessing about the future. This is the most difficult one for me, one of the most difficult ones to stop doing. Obsessing about the future. Yes, we have some control over the future through our actions today. Absolutely. Absolutely. But the solutions for how you feel now are usually in the present. So if you are triggered in some way, shape, or form, and I hate the word triggered, but it is what it is, right? If you are feeling a certain way because of a situational change, an upheaval in your life, the solutions for how you feel now are usually in the present and not in the future, whether it's nearby or distant future. Avoid obsessing about the future. And I don't obsess about the future based on how I feel. I'm more thinking about, what am I going to accomplish? What do I need to do to accomplish that? That's the kind of obsessing of the future that I do. It's like trying to get your vision aligned. Align your performance, as Dr. Alok Trivedi says. Number 6, and we're doing the 9 ways to deal with change. Number 6, when your future seems to depend on someone else's actions, you might be inclined to obsess about what ifs. Well, yeah. Instead, make the present moment the most important thing in your mind. What is going on right now? Especially if somebody else's actions are what are dictating your future. And do you want to be in that position for the rest of your life where somebody else's actions or inactions directly impact your future? Is that where you want to be for the rest of your life? Or do you want to be in a situation where your actions or inactions dictate and design your future? Where do you want to be? I'll tell you where 98, 99% of the people are. Their future is dictated by somebody else's actions or inactions. Make the present moment the most important thing. Number 7, take positive action to get back on track. That's how I finish my talks usually. And above all else, take action. Take positive action to get back on track. Put on music. Dance in your kitchen. Dance in someone else's kitchen, but get their permission first. Put on music, dance in your kitchen, go for a walk. I will say this, if you're not a regular walker, don't do 7 miles. I think I'm still recovering from that 7-mile walk. But a good, couple of mile walks, 3 miles. That was, 3 miles, four, maybe five. That was nice. Another one is read something inspirational. There's a link there too. It says five best but unheard of success books. I'll bet you one you don't know them. I'll bet you don't know them. So there's a link on there too. So when I add the link to this article, there's links within the article. So number 7, take positive action to get back on track. Put on music, take a walk, breathe deeply, read something inspirational, say positive affirmations, repeat them to yourself, believe them, internalize them, make them a part of your life. Positive affirmations. And believe in yourself. Like the wise man said, got to believe in yourself or no one will believe in you. I believe in you. But you got to take action. Take positive action to get back on track. Number 7. Number 8. Ooh, this is a good one. Quiet your mind. I went outside earlier today when I first went out to take out the dog so she could do her business. I just stood there in the breeze. There's little traffic sounds in the distance, right? The breeze making the leaves rustle in the trees, moving leaves on the street and the sidewalk, bits of paper fluttering around, occasional dog barking in the distance, some birds, greeting the new day, but just feeling the breeze and facing where it was coming from and hearing it, just hearing as the wind brushes past you. As you face wind, you hear it on your ears, right? So it's just, wow. And connect to that and be in that moment and quiet your mind. Number 8 says, quiet your mind briefly so you can see a fork in the road with a positive outcome. Find something you are grateful for and remind yourself that things have a way of working out. How important is it to have moments of tranquility in your mind, quiet mind, with positive thoughts, affirmations in your mind, assuming the positivity, asking for the positivity, asking God, asking your higher power, asking the universe, whoever or whatever you're connected to, asking for the positive, asking for a beneficial outcome, and assuming that it will happen. It's difficult sometimes to quiet your mind. I know I've had this situation, and I know people have had this situation where it's like, I wish there was an off switch or a pause switch because my mind is racing. It's so difficult sometimes. The thing is, sometimes we add to that. We add to it while our mind is racing and we're kind of frantic or, something, and you start looking at, social media feeds or news. Blah. That's not going to help. It's definitely not going to help you quiet your mind. It's like the headlines are all intent on antagonizing you, designed to get a reaction out of you. Quiet your mind briefly so you can see a fork in the road with a positive outcome and assume that positivity is coming in your life. Number 9, ways to deal with change. Get out of your own head. Many people ease their stress and fears quickly with meditation, with prayer, or by helping someone else. Giving of yourself is one of the best ways to receive something, right? You receive positivity from the universe. There's also a link there on ease their stress. And it's a link to an article called Thoughtful Ways to Stress Less. So even within this article, there's other links to other articles that you can check out. There's a quote here, and I'm guessing it's because it's listed here. Anne Smith, author of Overcoming Perfectionism, Finding the Key to Balance and Self-Acceptance. And the quote is this: how you react to change determines the outcome, good or bad. And there are usually 3 ways people react. Find out where you fall and how that affects you. And there's a link to that as well. 3 ways people react to change. It's a great article by the Success Staff on motivation, personal development. And it kind of reminded me of something I read yesterday. And this was really, really important because it's an idea that I hadn't thought of. And it very much has to do with change. The quote said something to the effect of, a therapist told my friend, and the quote was this. Listen closely. Some people, especially family, will choose to remember and recognize only the version of you that they held the most power over, no matter how long it's been or how much you've changed. It blew my mind. Some people, especially family, will choose to remember and recognize only the version of you that they held the most power over, no matter how long it's been or how much you've changed. Think about that. Can you relate to that? You've changed in your life. Who you are now isn't who you were before. Who you will become is not who you are now. Do you feel this applies to how you are seen by some people? Are you kidding me? I did radio for 20 years. I still get that, even though I'm not that anymore. I worked in healthcare for another 7 years. But more importantly, I feel, is that this section of that quote, the version of you that they held the most power over. It reminded me of the scene in Goodfellas where Joe Pesci and De Niro and Ray Liotta walk into a bar, and I think it's Dennis Farina calls him a shoe shine boy because Joe Pesci used to shine shoes. But now Joe Pesci isn't a shoe shine boy anymore, right? He's a man. And he takes umbrage to being called a shoe shine boy. And things happen. And scene. But that person remembered and recognized only the version of Joe Pesci, or his character, that they held the most power over. That's what that reminded me of. It's like, I'm not a shoe shine boy anymore. Who are you now? And that some people still bring up somebody you used to be. Let's say you dealt with issues with substances, or you had a menial job that they looked down on you for. Whatever it was. Can you relate? Do you feel this applies to how you're seen by some people? Now ask yourself this. Can you think of anyone this applies to as to how you see them? Is there someone in your life that you treat or keep reminding of who they used to be that they are no longer? We need to change that too. If we don't like the feeling of being thought of as something other than what we are now or who we're going to be, who we are striving to become, who are we doing that to as well? That change will make us better people. Empathizing realizing our limitations and becoming better people and demanding that people see us for who we are now and who we are going to be, because I'm going to be better than I am now. I'm better than my current circumstances. I'm better than my past. I'm above things that I've done in the past. And my future is beyond anything you can even imagine. This is really important stuff. And I want to say that quote again because it's so powerful. Some people, especially family, will choose to remember and recognize only the version of you that they held the most power over, no matter how long it's been or how much you've changed. And again, the other side. Sometimes we choose to remember and recognize only the version of people that we held the most power over, no matter how long it's been or how much they've changed. Big time stuff, guys. I thank you for tuning in today. I hope what we spoke about today was beneficial to you. You learned something new, and it'll help you with these 9 ways to deal with change. Admit that you feel vulnerable and seek help. Become proactive. Know that you are never stuck with just one feeling. Trust yourself based on past successes. Avoid obsessing about the future. Make the present moment the most important thing in your mind. Take positive action and get back on track. Quiet your mind and get out of your own head. And what we discussed. I hope you got something out of today. And I wish a few things for you today. I wish you the ability to deal with change. I wish you the ability to see that you have changed. I wish you the ability to see that other people in your life have changed. And you no longer have to just remember and recognize the version of them that you held the most power over. I wish you joy. I wish you success. I wish you happiness, peace of mind, clarity of thought, strength of spirit. That's what I wish for you today. And again, I thank you. You can find these videos on my YouTube channel, youtube.com. Do search for AlgaeMan1, ALGAEMAN, and the number 1. And check that out. Share these videos so we can get this type of information to as many people as possible. I appreciate you. I thank you. Knowledge is power. Imagination is king. And intelligence your weapon. Read a good book today, enrich your mind, and above all else, take action. Have yourself a wonderful day. Enjoy the cool weather if you're in my area. And I hope you have beautiful weather in your area as well. Hope to be back on Friday around the same time. So until the next time, we'll be talking.